Ladies and gentlemen, if at this point you have uncertainties in your life, or you're feeling that you are lost, or you feel that something is just not proper, there's just like a huge chaos all around pretty much everything, then I have a super simple solution for you. This is not fancy, but it works 100% of the time. This is not easy, but it works 100% of the time. And so you might be thinking that it will be like a, secret meditation or like, doing some. You might be thinking that this is like doing something, right? And so the truth is, this whole method that I'm about to share with you is not about doing something. It is the exact opposite. It is about not doing something. Because guess what? When we are feeling lost, when a human being is lacking of direction, there can be two things that is happening. The very first one is that he or she does not have any direction, which by definition is pretty much nonsense because whatever the freaking cat is happening, something is always happening. Worst case scenario, you're alive and you're digesting, you're just simply freaking alive, you're breathing, something's always happening. On the other hand, which is most of the times the case, or I do believe pretty much every single time the case in the case of a human being, is that you just simply have too much on your plate. You just simply have too much on your plate. And so this is what this whole method is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to share this with you, which is, drum rolls, fasting. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are feeling chaotic and if you are feeling lost, or you're like super emotional, you just something is screwed up, then I swear to you, if you don't eat for 24 hours and if you wait your whole body to go through this process, then I can promise you two things. The very first one is that you will feel awesome physically. This is the first thing. You will feel great physically. This is the first thing. I wouldn't like to get into the biology behind it and all that stuff. You can just look up fasting, but this is the whole thing. You will feel physically better. But most importantly, the second thing is that you will have mental clarity. You will just simply understand situations as it is. You will not have any kind of an emotional overlay on stuff. Because guess what? Your body is clean, so therefore your mind will also be clean. Have you ever experienced that, eating a lot of food or eating food which is like a very, very highly triggerous, if you will, so meaning that a lot of sugars, a lot of saturated fats, and this is just like tastes super good. So for example, if you're like going to McDonald's and eating 3 cheeseburgers and a lot of Coke, and after that you're smoking like a joint and drinking 3 beers, I'm not saying that there's any problems with that, but your mind would just simply not be clear. Like you would be like emotional, you're all out of the place everywhere. So you just simply will be, distanced from yourself. And the problem, or not necessarily the problem, but the case is that you would just simply have too much going on in your body and in your mind. You would just simply have too many thoughts. Because guess what? Like food is also poison, right? So necessary poison. I mean, without food we cannot really survive. But the idea is that when we are eating something, then we'll have certain thoughts. So have you ever experienced that, hey man, like you're eating something and you're feeling awesome, or you're eating something and you're feeling like completely depressed or just bad? And so the reason behind it is that obviously when you're entering some kind of a food inside of your body, then that thing will just simply be digested. And since when that thing is becoming, digested, or the whole process begins, all of those parts just simply break down, and what the food contains will pretty much become part of your body, right? So for example, proteins will be the building stone of your cells and so on and so forth. So it's like, it really matters like what type of a protein you're eating, or what type of fats you're eating, or what type of carbs you're eating. I mean, if any. By the way, I'm big on keto diet, but not because of weight loss reasons. So for this reason, when you don't really have any kind of food that is pretty much entering in your body, then your thoughts will just slow down. Like you gain mental clarity. Like your brain can actually focus here. Like you don't have to like focus your attention to here. Like, blood will not be flowing to your stomach, but blood will be flowing here. And also, it's just like you will not have anything to trigger your mind and your brain. So if you can just calm down and you can just simply regain mental clarity. And I would like to say this to you guys. I'm a very super freaking reactive person. And I have the tendency to experience heightened emotions many, many times on the negative end of the scale, also on the positive end of the scale, but many, many times on the negative end of the scale. And, pretty much perhaps because, when I'm dealing with business, it's like so many negative things, like so many no's, so many problems that you can't fix. And it's just like, many, many times it's just like, it just sucks. Okay. And so for that reason, I really just needed to find methods. And the only thing that works without the fail every single time is if I'm fasting. This is, but like I can meditate, I can work out, I can do, two things work very, very good. Working out for like immediately releasing that tension. And the second one is obviously fasting. And this thing, like fasting, like never failed me. And I've been very, very, very deep and dark places inside my mind. As you can imagine, every single human being, we are humans, that is part of the experience. And fasting just always works. And I don't really have like a course to sell you on fasting, but I really and honestly would like to convey this message to you from the bottom of my heart, because I do believe that universe or God or whatever is pretty much gifted this thing to us. It's like, you don't have to go all the time. You can just sit the freaking cat down and reflect, which fasting is exactly all about. So if you're emotional and if you are feeling or experiencing, some turbulence in your life, then just get rid of the thing. It's like, get rid of the food. I mean, not like, making yourself to burst it back, but throw out. But, let your body to do the thing. So with all that being said, here's your solution. And this is a solution for pretty much everything. Do you have like an emotional, breakdown, whatever? Fast. Simple. But one thing, you need at least 24 hours. So it's like, you need at least 24 hours. So you should not supposed to be eating for one day. And I'm not talking about intermediate fasting. I'm talking about fasting. And I'm talking about you actually going through that freaking pain. That's like, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of dying, I'm kind of depressed, I'm kind of down, but don't worry, that will not take longer than 3 to 4 hours. And after that, you'll be feeling in freaking heaven, because your body will just simply get back to, pretty much will get into ketosis, and after ketosis, it will also start to clean your body up. And so you can just pretty much look into this. I'm not an expert in that, but this is what is happening. I'm talking from experience. Love.